Atomic Heart is an interesting game that's in the same vein as Bioshock with upgradable weapons and abilities. The beginning starts a little slow as you're riding a boat through the water canal of a city. It is mostly set up to show some of the world building where an alternative 1950s Soviet Russia, where the discovery of the substance called polymer that created a boom in Soviet technology, where they've created robots and on the verge of a network called Collective 2.0 that would allow the Soviet citizens to control robots with their minds and able to upload knowledge as if it's like in the Matrix. You play as Sergey, also called Agent P3. P3 is a special forces agent who during World War II suffered injuries that nearly killed him, but was saved by Sechenov because of the brain injuries that P3 suffered. It cost him his memories. Sechenov is the creator of Polymer and P3's boss. He gives P3 a Polymer AI glove called Charles, which allows you to use Polymer abilities such as shock. But as you progress through the game, you find out Charles is more than what he seems. Sechenov wants you to hunt down a traitor to the Soviet Union called Victor. And that's when the exciting incident happens in the game. Victor triggered a program in the robots to go hostile to cause a devastating event big enough that which the Soviet Union couldn't cover it up to show that the robots that they are selling to other countries are hostile, after which he would flee to the States. So the player's job is to capture him and have him shut down the attack command to the robots. Although the plot doesn't seem that deep, it does get deeper as the game goes on, which involves a power struggle, secret plans, and betrayals that the chaos of the robots running amok brings to light, with P3 stuck in the center of it. They keep the cast of characters small and only had those that are important to the plot, such as Granny Xena. Granny Xena is a fun character that you actually briefly see at the beginning during the boat ride. She's a humorous character that is quite pushy and knows plenty of what's going on behind the scenes. She's one of my favorite characters in the game. Now, the breakout character that most people are talking about is the vending machine Nora. She serves as the machine that crafts and upgrades your weapons and your polymer abilities with Charles. Note that Nora's personality is very unique, which can make playing the game embarrassing in front of other people that can hear it.
Oh, so brutal. I'm shaking. Squirt your polymer inside me.
Now, the dialogue in the game is a bit of a hit and miss, with some of the dialogue that can come across cringy. The only person who really has an accent is the German guy, but the Russians have no accent whatsoever. I've seen people turn it to the Russian voiceover because of how bad they felt the English voiceover was. But I feel like doing this would cause some of the good jokes to fall flat unless you know Russian. Now that brings me to two issues that I have with the game. There's parts where the conversation seems to drag overly long between Charles and P3. Most of the conversations that you read in the computer terminals called pairs are often unimportant throwaways that the conversation that you had with P3 and Charles could have been changed and placed there instead to help with the world building these conversations are meant to provide. So you wouldn't have these long-winded dialogue in places where there could be action very soon. And you could cut some of it short if you progress past the hallway too quickly, triggering another piece of dialogue or an action scene. My second issue is with the looting. While the looting itself is not a problem, and it is easy just holding down button, but there's so many things you can loot in a room that looting eats up more of your time than it should. The thing that I do really enjoy in this game is with the different ways you can use your abilities and weapons in different upgrade paths. For those weapons, you can tailor your own playstyle pretty well. While the game starts off a little slow, and the ending is also kind of slow in action, other than the final boss fight, the story does get very intriguing, and I had a rather enjoyable time with it.